I tried to send the video without laughing. Oh, you should do your intro.
You want to draw it?
Fine. Damn
You
it.
can write PokeMMD, like you can do your version of it.
Okay, I mean the video already started, but I'm gonna draw it halfway in.
Okay. You let me know when you have Paint open.
Paint. Do I even have that installed? I do.
Bro, it comes with the computer.
Yeah, I uninstall it. What am I trying to paint?
What? How? That's like the. What's what?
I have Photoshop. What do I need paint
You
for?
could have Paint. You're paying for Photoshop. Paint is free.
Paying for photo? Oh, yeah, I am paying for Photoshop.
I pay for Photoshop.
I pay for Premiere Pro. What do you do?
Yeah.
You window capture?
What's that?
You window capture paint?
Yeah. Just window capture Paint.
Okay, let me get this bad boy.
I gotta think of a song.
Damn, my name's too long. My writing is so much worse. Okay, go. Whatever you do.
Real YouTubers, go on Joey's channel. Joey just had to re-download Microsoft Paint.
Bidding. Hey guys, it's Joey. Okay, let's get that out of here.
Hey guys, it's Joey.
I tried to do like please tell me I was recording. Okay, I was. Okay, I tried to do like Gator's like old intro. Hey guys, it's Gator. But yeah, guys, I'm here with Woofy Glit, the world champion of forever. He will always be
I'm
known as
drinking
the world
water.
champion. You drinking water? You good?
Mhm.
That's good. I want to
Damn
make sure.
great.
We just walked him through using the bathroom, so luckily he was able to.
Don't say that. I was like, Joey was like, hey, let's record, and I was like, okay, let me run to the bathroom. And then Joey started giving me tips, and I was like, Joey,
don't forget to. I said, don't forget to wash your hands, flush, and use the bathroom. Like, bro.
in
don't-
that order. Like, is that how you use the bathroom, Joey? Like,
Yeah. First, I wash my hands just to make sure that I'm not touching, the flusher. I don't even know what it's called.
oh, sure.
What is it called? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, guys, so this is part 2 of a video actually because Woofy Glit, if you guys didn't know, incredible VGC content, very entertaining, very good at the game. Wolf likes to consider himself the doubles me. I also consider him the single. Yeah, I also do the same. I think he's the same when it comes to that. So very entertaining guy though, and he uses face cam on all his videos, which I think is a big difference. Has it, and he has he's a shady penguin growing mustache right now. A little beard.
I got a shave. I got roasted earlier today. I've been continually getting roasted. The beard is coming to an end. So say goodbye.
And make it grow all the way, especially because I have. I could easily transition into. And now a word from our sponsor. Okay, just kidding. I'm gonna do it on a different episode. But I mean, I have a Dr. Squatch sponsor, but that was perfect.
Oh,
so
heck yeah.
Anyway, so guys, we did a video on Wolf's channel. I don't know if it'll be up by the time. This is going up Thursday. I don't know when you're getting that up, but we did a video that were Pokemon that are bad in doubles but good in singles. Whereas right here, we're gonna do Pokemon that are bad in singles, and bad is objective, obviously. Like you guys see you might see the screen depending on if I edit this or Pedro edits this for me a lot. But they're good maybe in their specific tier, but not good overall. Like when I think of good, I think of the highest, right? Like the best possible, like OU or whatever. So like these mons might be NU, PU, ZU, RU. They might have a niche, but they're not the best. So if you guys want to check that out, like I said, excellent content on Wolf's channel. He's also making his way to 300K, hopefully by the end of the year, which would be really cool, I think, as well. And I think he's been doing a lot of great things for Pokemon. So without further ado, why don't you talk about this first one right here? You have Dusclops.
Yeah, so I mean, Dusclops has been, especially in this format. I think one thing to keep in mind also is like sometimes it's hard to talk about BGC because like the format changes significantly every year, right? And if we had like Pokemon like Cresselia or Lunala or like some of our restricted Pokemon, maybe Dusclops wouldn't be as good. But we're talking about VGC 2020 because that's the only Sword and Shield format we've had so far. But yeah, Dusclops is a phenomenal support Pokemon. It's so incredibly bulky. 2 immunities to normal and fighting is really nice. It's one of the most consistent Trick Room setters. It normally runs Trick Room, Nightshade, and then 2 other moves. Oftentimes, the most consistent are Pain Split and Haze. Pain Split for longevity. Since it's it has such high defenses and such low base HP, it's a great move on it because it can actually do damage with it and keep itself healthy. And Haze kind of makes sure that nothing sets up on it, and especially in doubles, we have Dynamax. So setting up is that if something gets 2 or 3 defense boosts or attack boosts or something, it can be scary. So Haze. It's just a great support move, exactly. And so it's one of the best Pokemon. It was kind of dominating the whole format as the default Trick Room setter. It was so difficult to stop from setting up Trick Room, and Trick Room is so good in doubles that, yeah, it's a pretty great Pokemon. And also it's also scary, like because it can always run weird moves like Ally Switch, like Will-O-Wisp. Taunt Dusclops also in play, Bulldoze Dusclops also in play with
weakness policy superior, yeah.
Exactly, and then later weakness policy Tyranitar with Lash Out. because you can instantly do like lash out doubles on Bulldoze as well. So yeah, it's a phenomenal
strong.
Pokemon.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. So like when it comes to yours is obviously more of a support mon. They're very similar in that regard when it comes to singles versus doubles. But Dusclops, if you see it, you might see it on stall. I don't even know if they're even using it now, but like with Rest, Sleep Talk, Nightshade, and Will-O-Wisp or anything like that, maybe you might see some variation of like Spite. Or also you might see it like on lower tier Trick Room with like Trick Room plus Memento. It supports the team, but it's not the best. Like you'll see some forms like Will-O-Wisp, Pain Spit as well, but a lot of them, once you knock off its a Violite, it's like taunt fodder in a sense. Like it's
Right.
either running Seismic Toss or Nightshade as its offensive, presence, and it's not that it has like bad attack. It's base 70. It's passable, but you'll rarely actually see it do much. And actually, Dusknoir just got a whole lot better as well because it could take advantage of Poltergeist, which is something that this mon didn't have a good physical move, but this isn't something that Dusclops will do. So it's typically like a pressure staller with that's aimed just to check their fighting type, right? Check their fighting type and rest and PP stall the opponent because of pressure. And you guys use
Right.
Frisk, right? Because you can see the items.
You see both your opponent's items, so Frisk is really, really helpful, and very rarely will a Pokemon run out of PP in VGC. It's pretty rare. So, yeah, Frisk is by far the better ability.
I like that. I mean, it has them arms for it too. Like, it looks like it's actually trying to frisk you right now. Like,
Yeah.
my voice coming up.
I know what Dusclops frisking me, yeah.
Yeah.
So is Dusknoir better than Dusclops in singles?
So yes. So ghost types have really had it this generation. I think obviously the pursuit being gone is a big thing, but they also you have like Dragapult, Gengar, Aegislash, and higher tiers, and then in really really low tiers. If I actually look up Dusknoir right now, it's in PU. I think it had super high usage. Like I think it was almost number 1, number 2, or number 3. It's something like that.
Oh, wow.
A tier. It was something like that. Just because Poltergeist is so strong, so it's not necessarily good. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that its HP stat is very low, but it's a cool offensive Pokemon now with that base 100 attack, and yeah, it is better. It's hard to say it's better. Like I mean, if you're running a stall team and you run Dusclops, that's better than running Dusknoir in my opinion, just because of the Eviolite booster and whatnot, and the actual ability to pressure stall and like rest talk. The other one could do it, but it's just there's a difference. But yeah, Dusclops is definitely. I don't. It's tough to say better or worse, but it's better offensively, obviously, Dusknoir. But you have Indeedee as the next one, and so Indeedee's interesting because when it got the Psychic Surge plus Expanding Force, which was its biggest thing, you'd see like Specs or Scarf. Typically, you actually said female. Typically, male would be the one you see just because of its higher speed tier, at I believe base 95. And then you see like a tech move like maybe Dazzling Gleam for like Hydreigon or anything. It's not anything crazy. It does have a niche in OU though as the Psychic Terrain setter, so you might see it paired with like an Alakazam with like Nasty Plot Life Orb Alakazam so they can have strong expanding forces, or like Hawlucha with a Psychic Seed. But it's not anything crazy, and it's also not that like great. I guess because Pursuit is gone, it makes it a little bit better, and it does have Mystical Fire and whatnot. But yeah, it's not the strongest Pokemon. And there was a time though that it got banned like in lower tiers, like Indeedee females RU. Before that, I think before Expanding Force, I think it was like NU or whatever, and then the other one got banned from RU as well. But in yours, it's a lot better.
Yeah, it actually just got banned from VGC because it was top 10 usage.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was really good. Basically, like a lot of times, Pokemon that are supportive or like the Follow Me / redirecting Pokemon. Follow Me and Rage Powder are so good in doubles, and the Pokemon that do it, like oftentimes are more of a supportive, like they play more of a supportive role. As typically thing, like Amoonguss isn't really doing damage; it's going to be sporing and Rage Powdering and maybe Pollen Puffing. Clefairy is pretty much just helping handing. Togekiss can do some damage, but if you don't max it, it's normally more of a support Pokemon. You ran Yawn a lot.
Yeah.
The thing about DD is that because of Psychic Terrain plus Expanding Force, it actually could do like really decent damage. And with Focus Sash, you didn't have to invest in your bulk, but also it also synergized so well with Hatterene, where like Indeedee, Hatterene, Follow Me, Trick Room, and Helping Hand, Expanding Force, or just double Expanding Force is so strong. It's
both,
like actually,
right?
what's that?
It's both, right?
It's both in Psychic Terrain. It's a single target move otherwise, so it's very powerful. And it obviously gets the power boost as well. So yeah, it's very 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 powerful. As a support Pokemon because it can actually do damage. And Psychic Terrain is also like, it's with Rillaboom everywhere, it was a pretty good counter to that. And also, it's nice to power up Hatterini, who was often Dynamaxing in those kinds of teams. So yeah, it was a really good support Pokemon, like top 10 usage easily, and it's no surprise that it was banned.
Did both get banned?
Yeah, they just banned like Indeedee as a Pokemon.
Oh,
banned,
okay. So like it didn't matter if it was male or female.
Exactly. Like if Indeedee male had been top 10, it would have also been banned.
Okay, awesome. Why is female more used though? Why did you?
You can't run Follow Me on Indeedee male. It learns like different moves.
Okay,
and
like,
Imprison.
Yeah, I know Trick Room was a big one too. I don't like that. Because the other one's bulk. Indeedee female's bulkier, so I would want
bulkier and slower. Yeah, exactly.
But that is interesting. I mean, they do what they do. That's pretty cool. But yeah, like I guess in ours you'd see like maybe Choice Spectre, Choice Scarf. That's about it. You might see Terrain Extender occasionally for like an Alakazam and stuff, but it has a very, very small niche. Not to say it's like bad, because it's not bad, and it has what is it? The other one I think has a Mystical Fire. Or is this one? Yeah, this one has Mystical Fire as well.
They both get Mystical Fire, I think.
Yeah. It lacks Focus Blast, right? That's what thing I'm trying to
but we never run Focus Blast in doubles.
Yeah.
Like it's like a big no-no to run it.
Yeah, and it's not like Tyranitar is that. In ours, Tyranitar is not actually that much ran just because of, again, the Pursuit drop. So, I mean, it's overall it's interesting. But, I mean, top 10 in banned, yeah, no way Indeedee would ever be anything like that in ours. Mm-hmm. Now, you have Baby Clefable here.
Yeah,
and
Clefairy.
And Clefairy, yeah. So, Baby Clefairy. So I know in your guys, Friend Guard is a big thing because it basically nerfs the damage they take, right? Like receives the Pokemon allies receive.
Basically, I forget the exact ratio, but
it's just 3/4.
Oh, is it 3/4? Okay, yeah, it's basically like a Babby Reflector Light Screen for your partner. Is it 3/4?
That's what it says on Showdown. That's
okay, yeah.
That's cool. So is it like also like supportive with like Follow Me and stuff like that, or?
It's pretty much pure support. So we were talking on my channel, but basically you would never run Clefable, or like you could run it, but it's like you don't want to run it effectively. Like you need a really good reason. Like I saw it on a gimmicky team earlier where like it was like max speed Sash Clefable with gravity, but other than stuff like that, like you almost always want Clefairy. With Eviolite, it's super bulky. It's a really good support Pokemon because like for a lot of redirectors, like you can if you know that they're going to follow me, then you can just like, it doesn't really matter which one do you target because it's going to get redirected anyway. But with Clefairy, it really does matter because of Friend Guard, because of the ability to like boost the partner's defenses. So like protect Clefairy and attack with the sweeper, or protect the sweeper and like sing with Clefairy or switch out.
Oh god, they ran that too?
They run sing, yeah, it's really annoying because like, yeah, like that way you can't just ignore Clefairy because if it starts getting sings off, like it's a problem. So typically you run protect, Follow Me, Helping Hand, and then fourth move is kind of personal preference. After You is good if you're worried about Trick Room. Target your partner, make them go first. Sing is good if you want nobody else to have fun. Or like if you like flipping coins. I've seen Moonblast, I've seen Icy Wind, I've seen Life Dew, but yeah, like basically it's a really solid support Pokemon with Eviolite. It's actually like very bulky. And Friend Guard is a phenomenal ability, especially with Dynamax. Like Dynamaxing a Pokemon and having Friend Guard and then just like protecting Clefairy is pretty viable. In a lot of situations, because like between Dynamax's health boost and then Friend Guard's defense boost, like it makes Pokemon really hard to remove. In addition to creating mining games, I think I've seen Alistair's Clefairy if it gets that, but yeah, it's like a great support Pokemon and so much better than Clefable.
That's crazy because like I told you before in the other video, like I said, guys, you should check out. But Clefable is S rank. It is a top 3 Pokemon in terms of like defensive, just what it can do, right? And Clefairy is again very similar in a sense that no, it's not. Stop. Let me calm down. So Clefairy would be NU Clefable, basically. So Clefable's OU, Clefairy is NU Clefable because they can do the same thing. They can Wish, Protect. I believe they can do Teleport as well. So, and with Teleport, obviously, and the combination of Magic Guard, which you guys don't even seem to ever use on Clefairy, this might pass never. Wishes to like other NU Pokemon, or it'd go like things like it'd be support like Knockoff and soft boil type of thing. So it'd be crazy. Yeah, it'd be your fighting type switching. So instead of protecting everybody, it'd be like your status absorber type of thing. But like to see that it's better than Clefable is insane. I've even seen like Calm Mind Clef. Just because of the Eviolite. Like, I mean, 70, 48, 65, like, you don't think it's bulky. And similar to, like, Clefable. Clefable does not look bulky. It just looks passable. But, like, with the Eviolite, it just avoids so many 2-KO. So it'll check things like Banded Sock and whatever else is in the NU tier as well. Whatever fighting types are in there. Like, Alolan Persian, which is actually very common down there as well. And just, like, Moonblast and be annoying. And, like, Toxic Moonblast. So that's interesting. I remember this Pokemon paired next to Mega Kangaskhan. before because Mega King is hella fat.
Follow me power up punch. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was really annoying.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
You guys got Megas going. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad. I hate them. I hope they never come back.
They definitely are coming back.
I know, but I hope I can hope. I hope they don't come back for years. Yeah, go ahead.
So Colossal. So for us, I mean, there are some, you can use some heat like Endure Weakness Policy with Steam Engine, right? Like that might be the closest thing we have to what you guys run. But for the most part, it's like Rabbit Spin, Stealth Rock support, Will-O-Wisp is an option. Lava Plume, I believe it gets access to, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. We don't run that. Probably.
That's not Lava Plume. It's Flamethrower. Like Spike, Stealth Rock. We've seen Body Press sets. I have seen Tar Shot like on.
Oh, really?
Like on heat sets, but like it's not good. Like they're just gonna switch anyway. But with like hazard support, it's actually not terrible. So, but for the most part, it was typically your wall. Like there was a point right now. It's RU, I believe. Where fire types are actually really nice because the Charizard check in the RU tier on like a Salazzle check. But like before, it was good for like Noivern and UU, and it would be able to just deal with those. Like right now, we have like some crazy mons in UU like Keldeo and Kyurem and things like that. But before, it was able to deal with like the initial UU. Like it could switch in. I could take a hit from Obstagoon and body press it, or it could take hits from Avalugg if need be. But you guys don't even use support at all, right?
No, that's like a crazy concept for me to think about. Like, yeah, we would never use Colossal in that way. So Colossal is, when that first came out, people were like, this thing's kind of gimmicky, maybe not consistent. But since then, it's funny, just last weekend from when we're recording this, it won the Players' Cup, which was like a very, very long, you had to get through a Wi-Fi tournament, and then you had to get through a double elimination bracket. And then you had to win an that was down to 16 people, and then you had to win another double elimination bracket, I believe.
The heck?
The guy who won the tournament had like an insane run. His name is Santi. He's like a really nice guy. And I think he dropped over the course of like, let me actually pull it up. I was talking to somebody about it. But basically, he didn't lose a single set ever. And he dropped, I want to say over the course of his whole thing, I feel like he dropped he went 13 wins, 0 losses in sets, and across those 13 sets, he lost 3 games out of 2 out of 3. So 10 of the sets he won 2-0. 3 of them he won 2-1.
And he was using Colossal?
Yeah, and I don't know how he did in the Wi-Fi tournament, but obviously he made it through. But I know he used Colossal in both the invitation, or like both the final round, the finals, and in the Swiss state, or the double elimination like qualifier bracket. So yeah, I also had some success with Colossal myself when I won a Wi-Fi tournament with it. One of the international challenges, A-Drive Top Cut, a regional with it. Got top 16 as I recall. And yeah, so it's seen a good bit of success over the format. We pretty much, I mean, Gigantamax makes a big deal. In VGC also we have access to these strategies which are like combination. So like the most common one and the one that I used was Surf Dragapult with Gmax Colossal. Dragapult, you run like Jolly Nature, 0 special attack EVs. You Gigantamax your Colossal. You Surf it does like 25%. You activate Steam Engine, gives you +6 speed. Weakness Policy activates, gives you +2 special attack, and thanks to the new speed changes, you attack immediately. And Vocalith is like a crazy powerful secondary effect. Like all of those chip effects are really strong.
It's like Charizard's?
It's exactly like Charizard, except that rock types are immune. So,
oh, that's so cool too, because like, I mean, besides Colossal, what are the super common rock types? T-Tar, right? That's it, right?
Yeah, like now we have Terrakion, but even that's like not phenomenal. So, yeah, and also like it synergizes well with itself because it could set up Sun. Like, so for example, you could use Sun if like you were worried about water type attacks. You could like max Flare and set the Sun up to survive. Max Grass also to hit like with Solar Beam. It's typically special. But yeah, you can run max Solar Beam to set up grassy terrain for the future, and also to like hit water types were super effective. So it's a really difficult Pokemon to stop when your opponent's playing well. And like, even though a lot of the times people were kind of being like, a lot of people think of it as one-dimensional. In my opinion, it's like a really multi-dimensional, really interesting Pokemon. And Santi, who won the tournament, the Players' Cup, I think showcased that, and it, like showcased how he, it could be really flexible. I didn't actually have time to watch it, but I heard that like he was using like mid-game setups. Like he wasn't going it for
like turn 1, turn 2. That's interesting. So he would
he was going, like, I heard him setting it up on like turn 3 or 4, which is very difficult. But I mean, obviously it pays off when you do it. So.
I mean, if you're able to dance around Dynamax, that makes sense, because I've seen a lot of VGC, and I do see a lot of people just Dynamaxing immediately because I mean, if you can knock out 1 or 2 Pokemon when there's 4 Pokemon to use, it makes sense. You'll be in such a great position. But the fact that he was able to late game it was really interesting. He must really have known like his head calcs on like what damage he needed and like the way to play that, because the way
100%.
yes,
It's not easy to use, but when you use it well, it's like it pays off a lot, in my opinion. But yeah, so Colossal's, it's an offensive Pokemon, typically, that, yeah, like, is really difficult to remove despite its 4 times weaknesses, thanks to, like, normally you build a team around it to kind of protect it, and also, like, the secondary effects of its max moves are really good for it, so.
makes
yeah.
sense. And I mean, I like the way you said you can get it the max flare. It can even help you or like a chlorophyll user or like whatever next to it, or like, you know, the grass can be cool as well, especially because terrain is everywhere, even helping like a Rillaboom and stuff. That's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So we
Yeah.
have actually another fire type now. Arcanine is
What?
so Arcanine,
Which
right?
Pokemon?
God,
Oh,
I'm not saying Arcanine. That's
Yeah, go ahead.
oh my God, I hate you. I let you get away with Hatterene in the other one. I was
I've
just
been saying gimmick instead of Jimmick just because I thought it would make you mad, for the record.
Thank
All
you.
even.
Thank you. I've heard it. You know,
Wait, Hatterini isn't one I say wrong on purpose. That's like, I didn't do that one on purpose.
I don't even know if that's wrong, to be honest. Like, it could
Okay,
be
cool.
Hatterene or Hatterini. I believe it's Hatterene. But,
Yeah.
Rene. So, Arcanine. Arcanine's interesting because it has a niche, right? And in whatever tier, like, obviously, offensive is cool because, you know, it has good moves now, like Close Combat, Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Extreme Speed, Play Rough, whatever the hell you want, right? And then you have defensive, which is amplified by Intimidate. You have, like, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Morning Sun, Toxic, Roar, whatever. I know I played VGC and I loved Arcanine because the idea would be keep it in the back, so if they have Kartana, I bring it in, then I double out immediately after I bring it out because I know they're going to switch out of Kartana, save that Intimidate, and use it for later and position yourself. I remember that like a lot. I think you gave me a team or someone else gave me a team with Arcanine. But Arcanine also got even better as a defensive mon because of the inclusion of heavy duty boots, which doesn't have too much of a role in yours, but in ours, being immune to Toxic Spikes, Stealth Rock Spikes, just fire types are really living their best life this generation, even if they're like lower tiered, just because of the fact of heavy duty boots. So, like Volcarona, but it also got teleport from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
What?
Yep. So it can be physically defensive and Flamethrower, Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun, and Teleport. And you can pair it with a Clefable, which can Wish Pass and Teleport. Basically, you never get in a bad position with Arcanine. And it had a niche in the beginning of the generation, or like maybe after the Dynamax ban, right after, as a check to Darmanitan as well as Cinderace. But it also has a niche in Ubers as one of the best Zacian checks as well, as it's not 2-hit KO'd, and it resists Behemoth Blade as well as Play Rough. So it's not a bad mon, right? It's a cool defensive fire type, but honestly, in OU, defensive fire typing is not the best, unless you're like Volcarona, because Volcarona can do something with it, or Rotom Heat, because Rotom Heat again can like Volt Switch, which is a huge thing. Like it has stab to hit the water types. So, in yours though, like what does it do?
So I think the only reason it dodged the ban was because Incineroar was introduced. In VGC, fire is actually, like you said, actually, it's kind of funny because when I think of fire types, I think offensive ones, but fire is actually a pretty good defensive type as well.
Yeah.
And in large part because of the fairy resist. I think it does resist fairy, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, basically, it's just like a great support Pokemon. Like it basically is Intimidate, which is so valuable in VGC. Intimidate, Snarl, you're almost always going to run Snarl, you're almost always going to run Will-O-Wisp, and then kind of 2 moves, like you're going to run a Fire move if you want to run Flare Blitz or Flamethrower or Heat Wave, kind of personal preference, and then Protect or Helping Hand, or we've actually seen Safeguard in metagames where like Butterfree was bigger.
That's so
and stuff
cool.
like that.
Safeguard Volcarona is something that's ran at the moment too.
Yeah, it got second at internationals, as I recall, in Australia with Safeguard, if I'm remembering correctly, with Eduardo using it. But yeah, basically just like a solid defensive fire type. It's normally going to have some kind of a berry on it, like either Citrus or Iapapa, you know, one of those other berries, or maybe even Shuka or Pasho, depending on your team and what you're weak to. It could also have safety goggles, but yeah, it's basically just like a less bulky Incineroar, but it gains speed and Will-O-Wisp instead, which is like also pretty valuable, and it's relatively fast, like for like especially for the current metagame, so you can outspeed and Snarl and Will-O-Wisp a bunch of stuff, which is valuable.
So do you mention Wisp because Incineroar can't fit that on its moveset?
Incineroar is slower. Yeah, like you wouldn't normally run Will-O-Wisp on Incineroar. I think in large part because of the speed, and yeah, because of the moveset as well. Like normally you want Fake Out as kind of your utility move. Fake Out, Parting Shot, Dual Stab, Taunt. Even Roar has some utility, although not a ton of utility. But yeah, normally you run Fake Out, Parting Shot, Incineroar, Flare Blitz, and then a Dark move, and then If you want other moves than that, like Snarl is like an option. Close Combat is an option. Taunt is a really good option. I don't really know why, but I think the ability to burn things before they attack is like kind of important.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like instead of
So I
just
think
shrugging them
the
off.
worst
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And like I said, like this mon was really good in the year I played in Hartford as well. Just Kartana being everywhere. And being able to support with Helping Hand is so big. Like being able to support your own Kartana is so huge. Like I remember like attacking into an Incineroar, into an Arcanine, and it being like at 60%, and then knocking out with my cart because I was banded with Helping Hand boost. So like things like, oh my god, that mon's gonna come back with Close Combat.
Cortana, I don't want to think.
And
of
Grassy
Cortana.
Glide and everything.
Cortana is going to be a problem.
But yeah, it's interesting because like very similar to them. They're like more defensive. And it's funny because in Battle Stadium 3v3, so Battle Stadium singles, Arcanine you'll see a more offensive set just because obviously Dynamax is allowed in that. And like you'll see like play rough, you see maybe even weakness policy, extreme speed. I've even seen Assault Vest as like a means to stopping Dragapult and then eating the hit and then knocking them out with Max Starfall. So
That's funny.
yeah, like even like a boosted, like this mon can take out boosted. Actually, this mon probably got a lot better now with Tyranitar and Powdon and Excadrill all banned from our metagame as well. Huh, I'm gonna try this out. But yeah, so Lapras is next. Now we don't have Dynamax anymore, obviously in our metagame. Obviously, one way we used to use it though was like an Aurora Veil starter because of its Gmax Renaissance, whatever, Resonance.
I think it's Resonant.
Yeah, whatever, man. I called it Renaissance for the longest time. But besides that, the niche on Lapras is like Perish Trap with Whirlpool maybe, or a random Specs because it has a really good move pool with like Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Thunderbolt, whatever. I've used Assault Vest as well in like Draft when I needed to Mega Horn a Starmie or whatever, or like a Celebi or something like that. But besides that, not really too much. I mean, it has boots now, so it could definitely Perish Trap, Rest, Rain Dance type of thing with Whirlpool. So it doesn't have to worry too much. I know in Monotype it can do that as well, but in yours, is it always just offensive?
No. So Lapras is actually pretty difficult to deal with because it can be pretty varied in how it wants to play. There's kind of three main sets. The first one, Fevzi used to win the Champions Cup and do well at regionals and just overall have you like very strong. He typically, the way that he would use his teams was he would use Light Clay Lapras to get 8 turns of Veil, and he would use it early game. It would have Perish Song if you happen to take 2 KOs, but really it was just to get the Veil up, do some chip damage, and then like he would go for late game Dusclops plus Conkeldurr. And those Pokemon are extremely difficult to deal with in Aurora Veil. Like Dusclops is already a nightmare, and when you give it Pain Split Haze in Aurora Veil, like it's not going down. And then Conkeldurr with Life Orb, Iron Fist, Drain Punch is like you couldn't even intimidate it because he would just haze away the drops. So so there's kind of like the bulky defensive set with Lapras. I mean, they're all bulky and defensive to a certain extent, but the idea is like an enable to defensive playstyle. Kind of just like attrition and wearing the opponent down gradually and like making sure your opponent couldn't get the most out of their max turns because you have Aurora Veil up and such bulky Pokemon. So that's kind of the first way. The second way is offensive, and there's 2 variants of that. The first is weakness policy. Lapras, obviously, it's got really good natural bulk, and even if you hit it with a super effective move, if it maxes, you're probably not going to one-shot it. So, and also, obviously, you can't really hit it with super effective moves. Like if it has weakness policy, if it's an Aurora Veil, because you're not going to do that much damage, just Dynamax, and you're going to give it a boost. And then I've also seen like weakness policy sets paired with like weak attacks of your own side, like Giga Drain Comfey, for example, because that gets priority. And then the last idea is one that did like relatively well as well with Life Orb, actually, because Lapras has amazing bulk naturally when it Gigantamaxes, but the offense is like a little lacking. So with Life Orb, like it was paired with like Tailwind, Fake Tears, Whimsicott, so you would Tailwind.
That's cool.
Be fast, and then like because you were attacking first because of Tailwind, you could get the Aurora Veil up before the opponent attacked, and so like you were still getting the bulk, even though like you were like losing your HP and not as bulky. You were still getting that because you were getting Aurora Veil up before they attacked the first time. So definitely not like a perfect Pokemon, but very strong, one of the best in the format. It fell off a lot because of Rillaboom, but I think without Rillaboom's introduction, it would continue to have dominated the format, and because of Rillaboom's introduction, it does dodge the ban.
That's cool because because I play Battle Stadium singles as well, so we actually do get to use Dynamax. And it's very similar in a sense that you'd see like a weakness policy lead Lapras. You get up the Veil for yourself, but the idea is like make it bulky enough to live like a high jump kick from Cinderace after maxing, even if it's Life Orb, and then just knock them out with your Gmax move as well. I don't know. I guess it's better in 4v4 because you can support a team, but I always didn't like it in 3v3 because I wouldn't be able to really I can't Dynamax anything in the back, right? Like that's the big thing. Like I love Cinderace and Dynamax is absolutely broken. In 3v3 specifically, but if I Dynamax my Lapras, that way my Cinderace can eat hits, then I can't Dynamax or I can't Gigantamax with Cinderace. Exactly. But in yours, like being able to abuse it right there, just like thinking about Conk is already a bulky Pokemon because of its HP stat, and Dusclops obviously has ridiculous stats, so it makes sense. I like that. I love
And you paired it
Whimsicott.
with that didn't really want a Dynamax. Like
Yeah.
Conkeldurr didn't really need to Dynamax to be good, you know?
I mean, Drain Punch is great. You want your Mach Punch priority, I'm assuming as well.
Exactly.
Like extra drill and T-Tar. I love this Pokemon. I think we both used it in draft several times, actually. Whimsicott is a beautiful mon. I think it got a big, the prankster thing was pretty whack for it. Like, Dark types not being effective.
Yeah.
Like in singles, I've effectively stopped this thing from defogging with like Mandibuzz or like Tyranitar, even Hydreigon, like Pokemon that will die. I've effectively stopped it. It lost hidden power, which meant that it's all because there were in lower tiers. It like Specs or Life Orb sometimes, but like because like Togedemaru and Delphox would be like the only counters to it in lower tiers because Grass and Fairy is very good typing, and then it run like Hidden Power Ground, Hidden Power Fire, depending. Hidden Power being gone is bad for it. The Dark buff or whatever is bad for it as well, and yeah, honestly, like the abundance of Dark types that it can't break and the abundance of Steel types, like, I think it's still annoying and I think it's still cool as a potential support mon. And it's RU. Apparently, but I don't think it's the best. I did get Hurricane though, which is pretty cool. I think it had it for a little bit. But in yours, it's pure support, right?
It's so broken. Like, it's one of the best Pokemon. It's another Pokemon that just got banned because... So this doesn't affect singles at all, but the speed mechanic changes in Generation 8 are a huge deal for Whimsicott. Effectively, for anyone who doesn't know, back in the day, like, speed order was determined at the beginning of the turn. So, like, let's say I have my Ludicolo and Joey has his Scarf Charizard. If I switch in Politoed in doubles on the same turn and go for a Water move with Ludicolo, Generation 7, the speed order is determined before any switches happen. So, for example, if I bring in Politoed in this situation, then Charizard still attacks first. But in Generation 8, they changed it, where speed is dynamic and updated throughout the turn. So, if I bring in Politoed in Generation 8 and Joey has Scarf Charizard, as long as my Ludicolo will outspeed in rain, then it actually will outspeed. And that applies to Tailwind because what that means is I can have Whimsicott next to anything. I can Prankster Tailwind, and then my partner is instantly double as fast.
Ridiculous.
And so, yeah, pairing it with pretty much any offensive Pokemon is terrifying, and it's almost impossible to stop Whimsicott from getting Tailwind up. Like, it's very, very, very difficult, and since they often run Protect anyway, like, yeah, like, it's extremely difficult to stop, and, like, Whimsicott's the reason that Trick Room has been so big this format, is because, like, it's one of the best answers to Tailwind, because you can't stop Tailwind from going up, so you may as well counter it if they want to set it up. So, it's a very, very, very amazing support Pokemon just because of Prankster Tailwind, but then also, Protect is great on it, Taunt, Fake Tears,
It's
Helping
beat up
Hand.
as well, right? For Terracotta.
Beat up, exactly. Switcheroo plus Eject Button is actually a legitimate strategy, even though it's also hilarious. Yeah, it's a really, really good support Pokemon that actually, like, I mean, it's not weak either. Like, Fairy is a great offensive type, so it's not a Pokemon you can always just ignore.
Yeah.
Fairy hits a lot of the
It's
Pokemon
good
in the
neutral,
metagame.
yeah.
And even just to, like, doing 25 to 30% to one of your opponent's 4 Pokemon with a Whimsicott is, like, if it's neutral, like, hitting a Primarina, maybe getting a special attack drop, like, it's not bad at all. Taunt is great utility as well, so it's just a phenomenal support Pokemon that has some offensive presence and that you can't really ignore because it will disrupt you with Taunt or Fake Tears or Switcheroo, or stuff like that. So, yeah, like, it's a really, really, really good Pokemon.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, not surprised to see it
Absolutely.
banned.
I mean, Moonblast is also like probably one of the most broken moves ever. Like, it's 100% accurate. It's 95
No
base
drawback.
power for no reason. 30% chance to lower the target. It's literally no drawback. Like, bro, I would use this over, let's say they gave us Fairy Blast, which only was 100 base power, 100 accuracy. It'd probably have low PP as well. I'd always use Moonblast over it. It's one of the best moves. Like, it's just stupid how good they made it. But, like, again, for us, like, you might see, like, Memento maybe to support something else. But, like, I blocked that as well by going out into, like, dark types to stop them from setting up or encoring and stuff. So, like, it's not bad and being able to U-turn support or not, but it definitely fell off a little bit. I think it's still cool in lower tiers, though. And, in draft, you've used it, I've used it. It's great in that, man, when you're able to tailor it to all that. But it's cool. I know Sub Leech Seed is also something that we used to use. When Dynamax was allowed, I used Sub Seed to basically, or just Sub, to basically, like, stall out 3 turns of Dynamax. and go from there. Especially with like mons like Drake Assault running around, setting up the like its terrain, and then going for Bolt Beak after being a threat. Now you have this mon. Now I've not seen this mon since I beat the Sergeant Bash with it back in Gen 5 with Riolu. Okay, and I did some like copycat roar stuff. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was either that or like copycat. I'm pretty sure it was copycat roar. The idea was get up hazards and you copycat the roar that you did because you go for roar, and then you have prank. This before the prankster nerf. So before they made it like not work on dark types, you literally phase them out, and if you have stealth rock and spike, you win the game. That's it. It's a very fast Pokemon at base 60, and
Wait, what? Base 60 is not very fast.
In terms of what it wants to do, like in terms of like priority. In terms of priority, base 60 is pretty fast because they're like Scizor, for instance, isn't running max speed with Bullet Punch. You know what I mean? Like, so basically with 240, hitting the number 240 for us is a good speed tier for priority. Like unless you're fighting a damn Arceus, at extreme speed, there's not a lot of, or like Rillaboom, which exists now. There's not a lot that did that, but got severely nerfed. I think CTC has tried to bring it back. I've used it a couple times as well. Not good. But it does have some cool moves as well, like high jump kick and obviously Swords Dance and blaze kick and stuff like that. But what the hell does yours do?
Well, it's a bit gimmicky, but it is a legitimate Pokemon, something you have to respect. There's two things you do with it. Number one, Copycat is a prankster Copycat user, like you mentioned, and specifically you would use it with Trick Room. So there's a weird interaction in doubles where, let's say I use Flamethrower, right? And then Max turns into Max Flare, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you want to use like Ice Beam, it turns into Max Hailstorm or whatever, right?
Yep.
What happens if I use Max Guard, right? Any support move will turn into Max Guard, right? And so what happens if you use Copycat after using Max Guard? Well, Copycat copies the last move used, but you can't copy, you can't copy a Max move if you're not maxed.
So it copies the actual move that it would be?
It copies the base move. So Trick Room is -6, -7 priority, something like that, -5. It's the slow. It's always going to be the last thing to move, and if you go for a Trick Room, normally you have to expose yourself to damage in order to get it up. However, if you use Max Guard and then Copycat immediately after, your Max Guard copies the Copycat.
That's so cool.
I got second at regionals using the strategy with Liepard, actually, using Copycat. But yeah, so Riolu can do that, and so it's good with Hatterini. You can go for Max Guard Copycat, and then you can side Bullet Punch to activate Weakness Policy, which is funny. You can also use Helping Hand as well. And now they actually just buffed it. The reason I'm including it is actually because of the buffs. And it's a Prankster Prankster Coaching user. Coaching gives you +1/+1. I'm sure it's a move you'd never use in singles, but in doubles, it's bulk up on your partner. And you have Prankster, and it ignores redirection, which is one of the few moves that actually ignores redirection. So pairing it with like a Dragapult or a Cavalion or anything, you can make it very, very scary. Like Dynamax a Pokemon, giving it +1/+1 every turn. You can't ignore the Dynamax Pokemon that's getting boost because it'll kill you, but if you ignore the Riolu, it's going to boost the partner every turn. So
that's so cool. And the fact that Riolu obviously retains the boost, because I don't know if, since a lot of people might be watching that play singles, when you get the Dynamax boost, it boosts your ally as well. That was a really interesting mechanic they decided to go with, by the way. I'm still not sure how I feel about it myself. But
I think it's good, personally.
Yeah? You think it's just the idea of like boosting Togekiss' speed and the 50% crits every single time on top of that.
It's definitely dangerous, but I think it's overall a good call. Like I think it's better than, like, because it allows more defensive play and it makes it less only the Dynamax Pokemon,
I mean, like I said, you play it way more than me. In my metagame, Dynamax is straight up broken. In Battle Spot Stadium as well, Dynamax is like, certain mons are broken with it. I'm glad they banned them. Shout out to Cinderace, never should have been allowed with Dynamax, personally. Just because of Max Air Scream into like Max Knuckle and stuff like that, it's just straight up winning. But that's so cool, dude. The idea that you Copycat Trick Room and then coaching as well. I didn't even think about that. Do you guys ever, this is a side thing, but kind of has to do with that. Do you guys ever use Decorate?
Yes, the issue is, like, so that Lapras team I mentioned earlier, originally it was paired with Decorate Alchemy, like very bulky Lapras, and then you Decorate to give yourself +2. Basically, like, it was hard to use Alchemy because Scarf Alchemy didn't outspeed Dragapult. And that's kind of a problem. But with Dragapult gone now, I definitely think Alchemy has some room in the metagame, for sure. I also don't ever want to think of a Decorate Smeargle.
Like the only other time I've done it is I've tried using Decorate in again the Dynamax meta, and I decorated the opponent, and then I went Ditto to copy them. and then,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Ditto can abuse Dynamax really well as well, since it's not locked into any move it wants to go for. But, yeah, that's so cool. I love that Riolu. Now, I have experience using Raichu in your meta. I've done Fake Out, I've done Nuzzle, I've done, was it Follow Me? It might be Follow Me as well. I think it was Follow Me. And,
It doesn't take out Nuzzle, Volt Switch, and then +1.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen the support. I think we played you as well when you had it at a point. So I think we had like a Mamoswine and like I don't know, remember Scenario, but
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
yes, we played some game. Maybe it was MBO or something. I don't remember at all. But yeah, this Mon. And so in our tiers, obviously when it got that buff a while back with I think it was Speed, it made Nasty Plot better in lower tiers, or even like Specs better in lower tiers. But it's PU by usage, so it's not the greatest. But it has a good speed tier, Nasty Plot, Volt Switch, or just like Specs with like Focus Blast, Volt Switch, just Surf, has Grass on its arsenal. So like it's good. It's just not, in terms of electric types, it's way outclassed by Rotom Heat as a Nasty Plotter, just because of how like better Rotom Heat is defensively. Or like Zeraora just as a grass type, an electric type that can just Volt Switch around and just has good accurate moves, which is a big thing. Like Plasma Fist, knockoff, close combat. I don't have to use Focus Blast. Type of thing, but overall, I think it's a Pokemon that can be used, and I think Lightning Rod is really good on it too, and I think that's one of the draws for you guys as well.
Yeah, so it's funny. In doubles, it's actually much more of a support Pokemon. It has really nice support moves, and it's in a great speed tier. I mean, obviously, I won Worlds with Raichu.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be partial to it, but yeah, in doubles, it's awesome play throughout the season. It's not super big right now, in large part Rillaboom. Is a reason for that, but yeah, basically Lightning Rod is a phenomenal ability, protection from your whole team, or like if it's on the field, the protection of the partner from electric type moves is like a big deal. You're typically going to see Fake Out, Nuzzle, and then 2 more. One of those is going to be, at least one of those is going to be an electric type attack. We actually saw some players using Volt Tackle, like Raichu with sometimes with Sash, sometimes with like Magnet, because I think it can do a lot of damage to Togekiss, which, as I mentioned, has been so big in the meta game. But yeah, you can run Helping Hand. I think people maybe even ran Surf with it to pair it with Colossal at some point. So there's like a lot of different things you can do with it. But yeah, it's a really good support Pokemon. It kind of goes in and out depending on the metagame. Losing Endeavor was huge for it. I think if it had Endeavor, it would be like so much better. But it was a unique event in Generation 6. So yeah, like it's definitely like not as good as it used to be. But it's a really solid support. Pokemon Paralysis is so good. Fast Paralysis. It also has the same effect as Tailwind. Like paralyzing a fast opponent's Pokemon means that like they're immediately cut in half speed. So like same effect as Tailwind, right?
It's such a wild change. Holy crap!
It's a huge difference. Yeah. So yeah. So overall, it's just like it's a nice support Pokemon that has some offensive pressure. Volt Switch is obviously good depending on the metagame. Feint is a move it gets as well. But yeah, it's typically going to be a bulky support Pokemon with Focus Sash or Assault Vest depending on your team. With Fake Out, Nuzzle, and then 2 other moves like Volt Switch, Helping Hand, Volt Switch, Volt Tackle, Helping Hand, Volt Tackle, Protect, Feint, something like that.
I think U-Turn would be really good for it if it got.
U-Turn would be good. I think you'd probably still run Volt Switch, like just because like it actually will do some damage if you want to use it.
That's sick. Yeah, like this mon isn't like the greatest. I mean, like I said, Specs in lower tiers is okay. I don't think it has too many opportunities to Nasty Plot just because of its overall weak defense stat, base 55. But good speed tier, and I think that's what makes it most threatening. I think actually Alolan Raichu was at a point banned. From RU, yes. So because of its high speed tier.
We never use Alolan Raichu.
You know what actually made it good? It was the fact that freaking Pincurchin, and then Rising Voltage. That was it. Rising Voltage is nasty.
Yeah.
And so the last one on this list is one of my favorite Pokemon ever. And I think everybody has to respect this mon. Now, in singles, Comfey got worse because it lost Hidden Power. So in lower tiers, you'd always see Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Giga Drain, and Hidden Power Fire. And like I'll run you through like last generation NU, but that'd be a set. And what you do is whenever you get Comfey out versus something that's beats it, you click Hidden Power Fire and the Silvally Steel. You do 35-40%, right? You switch out, and then the next time you hit them with a Draining Kiss. And rocks are up, they're in range of it. So it could easily set up for its own thing. You like Draining Kiss Incineroar once, you switch out. This is before heavy duty boots. So Comfey is the type of mon that can really set up for itself just because of its triage ability. One thing that has been used that I think is also pretty cool is I've seen growth in Sun with Weather Ball.
Ooh. I didn't know it got any of those moves, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until was it Weather Ball? Maybe it wasn't Weather Ball. Was it Nature Power? Did it not get Weather Ball? Maybe what the hell? Maybe I'm lying. I swear the dude said he had Weather Ball in it. And then we crit him. That's all I remember. Alright, it didn't get Weather Ball. There was something that it did. Okay, no, it was just growth in Sun. Sorry, excuse me. It didn't get Weather Ball. So I was wrong about that. It gets stored power. That's the thing. It got stored power. So it was like growth in sun with stored power, and obviously, you know, when you growth in sun, you get +2/+2. So
Yeah.
stored power would be bigger. Giga Drain and Draining Kiss is really good, and obviously Draining Kiss is good on this Pokemon because the amount you recover versus its low HP stat is almost like you're almost always healing Comfy, like to a considerable amount. And then you see like Brandon Defog, we've seen support, but you also fought it, I think, as well a couple times, or you've seen us use it a couple times as well. But what about in yours? Like, what does it do?
So it's a really good support Pokemon. I think in my opinion, it's a little underplayed right now. Like it's a really good Pokemon, but I think it's not used as much as it could be. It's typically a support Pokemon. So moves it gets are like Floral Healing is the big one. That's a 50% heal on your partner with priority, +3 priority, and in Grassy Terrain it's a 66% heal. So it's kind of scary. There's like pretty much insta healing almost anything back to full. And or like anything back to, you know, at least 50%, maybe 2/3 HP all the way back. It also is often paired with weakness policy Pokemon like Goodra and Lapras, and then you use Draining Kiss and Giga Drain with those to activate their weakness policies. And they Dynamax, and I think it gets Taunt. It actually gets Trick Room as well, so like you can actually get bulky.
It's good.
Yeah. And then like obviously Prankster Draining Kiss is like nice in general. I've also seen it paired with Dragapult, where like you use like fast Dragapult and then with weakness policy and then priority Draining Kiss because it's faster than Fake Out Draining Kiss. Most of the time I think because
They're both +3, but
most of the Fake Out users are slower than Comfey, so you can like it also gets Helping Hand.
I wish Wolf knew that when we played in the NBL going forward.
Yeah, I bet you do. I've made that mistake again. I definitely faked it out. But yeah, it's like a cool support Pokemon that has a lot of different stuff it can do and is like actually pretty, like it's like not a Pokemon you ever want to go up against.
It's so pretty too.
It's a nice looking Pokemon. Yeah,
like Floor Healing is a beautiful move as well. Yeah. That's very. Wait, did you make that animation video you were talking about?
I have it. I don't have it recorded, but I have it all. Like I know what I want. I just haven't recorded it.
Very insulted that Pyro Ball was not on that list originally.
My dude. Where's my list?
But
Pyro Ball made the final list. But
of course it is. It's one of the best animations in the damn game. It better be on the list. But like overall, like I think it's interesting. Like a lot of mons that are good offensively for us are more support, or a lot of mons that are good support for us are more offensive for you. Like Indeedee just being actually most of these mons are support except for Colossal and Lapras potentially. So I think that's so cool. Like just to see the difference between it. And now we have to christen these two videos with us battling in doubles and singles. That's the way it goes, Wolf.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, best of 100.
Best of 101.
Best of 103, actually.
Okay, yeah.
That way, and then no, best of 100. That way, when we 50-50, another best of 100.
Oh my god.
But yeah, thank you so much for being on the channel, man. It was I love learning about this stuff. I think it's so interesting to see how they're different. Like I remember when I told you that Clef was like S rank and Toxapex was amazing. You were like, what the hell? Like they're actually good. But it's so cool to see like a metagame where like Hazards doesn't play a role. And I'll tell you, they made heavy duty boosts for us. Someone at Game,
that's not for me.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
100%. Like someone at Game Freak was like, huh. I see Pokeaim doesn't use Charizard, my favorite Pokemon, just because of that.
Yeah, I never considered it. Like, yeah, I would never in a million years consider heavy duty boot. The meta would have to be insane for it to even be on the table for us to consider. So it's interesting.
I mean, I think if it was Double Zoe with 6 Pokemon Rocks, would make more sense. But
yeah, for sure.
It's 4. But overall, I enjoyed this. Guys, please subscribe to Wolfie Glick. His channel link is down below. Wolf, please stop saying G's like J's. Or J's like G's, whatever the hell it is.
Listen, if you don't know what you want, then I can't. I
know what I want. I just don't like how it sounds. But overall, like I said, I enjoyed this one.
Yeah,
we did the other part on Wolf's channel. Check it out.
I'll probably put it up the day before this because I have something else going up Thursday.
Sounds good. No worries.
But yeah, thanks so much for having me, dude. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, everyone, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure if you haven't already, you're subscribed to Joey.
Hey. Please sub to Wolf. We will one day get to Master Ball. I swear. It might take a year.
Master Ball, dude. One day.
One day. Maybe in a year or two. We'll get to Master Ball. But yeah, guys, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Bye.